Shall I start? Hello, test 1 2 1 2 test 1 2 testing.
My name's Alisha. I don't think you've heard of me. Doctor of music, so welcome to my surgery. Accident or emergency, here to spread my word. I speak with so much urgency, the world is just absurd. You're welcome.
I love that.
No pressure.
Daisy, beat that as an intro.
Hey guys, I don't think I can beat that. What even was that?
I don't know. We don't do that.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, but that was brilliant.
Okay, no pressure. I'm Rachel. And what else can I say other than this is quite strange, but I'm sure it's going to be fine once we get started.
Cool.
Hello, I'm JJ. This is a new experience, and Alicia's was unbeatable, so I shouldn't really try.
Awesome.
Always gotta try.
Thanks, guys. Well, welcome to the Martin Talk Show, being recorded here at the Victoria Hall Theatre in Harlow. This is part of the Amplify Harlow series that we're doing on the podcast at the moment. And I wanted to welcome into that series Hip Hop Pop. Because as a group, you're a tribe that exists in the town that does such amazing things, and I want to hear from. I've heard from Jenny and Vic, who run the show. They've been on the podcast in the past, but I wanted to hear from the members of Hip Hop Pop as to what it means to you. So where should we kick off? Should we kick off with you, Alisha? What does Hip Hop Pop mean to you?
For me, hip hop pop means family, and that could you always think that family is blood, but it doesn't always have to be. And with hip hop pop, it's more than just dance. Like, if I've ever had a problem, or like if I've struggled, the first people I call, I'm really sorry, Jen and Vic, is Jen and Vic. And they're always just there to help me. But it's not just them, it's everyone. Like, I'm sure if I needed a lift somewhere, Rachel would probably help me. Or if like I'm like, guys, I'm doing this show, then half the audience will be hip hop pop members. Like,
Yeah.
It just really means family to me, and I love that they infuse dance to empower that, and then they just don't keep it within the family, within hip hop pop. They then pass it on to the community, like Harlow, but not just Harlow, the surrounding areas as well. And it's generally a force to be reckoned with. They generally show you what it is like to love people and just like be inspirational and do good by people, and it generally shines across Essex.
I love that. That's amazing. But is that true, Rachel? If Alisha gives you a call, are you there? Are you
Definitely, and
Yeah.
I think that's the same for all of hip hop pop. And it's almost like when I started with hip hop pop, I found something that I never knew I didn't have, that I needed, that I never knew was there. And it has. That's the word I would use, is family. It really is like an extended family, especially through COVID. The work that Jen and Vic did to keep everybody going and connected was just above and beyond anything. And that's just the attitude, I think, of all of hip hop pop. I've made amazing, incredible friends that I would see for life. I think even beyond hip hop pop, I had a whole social life that I never knew I was going to have through it as well. And everyone's just there for each other.
No, I'm guessing, JJ, you're one of the newer members to the group.
I've
You're
been
not
doing it since I was really young. I think
okay.
about 3.
Wow!
So,
Wow!
yeah, I love it there. The vibes, the positivity. Everyone's so kind. I just love it there. Honestly, that's
Have you ever known anything different then? So from 3 years old, you've been dancing, you've been moving, you've been part of this
I
group.
mean, my dream when I was young was always to be on stage, and I feel like that's really been fulfilled thanks to hip hop. Yeah.
Now I know, Daisy, that you're part of the theatre family as well. You do a lot of stuff here at Victoria Hall, don't you?
Yeah.
So how does that family thing resonate with you?
I think hip hop is something so special. It's one of those things that you can't even describe, because obviously I've grown up doing like different things with performing, but I've been doing hip hop since I was younger. My sister's been doing it as well. And it's one of those things that you just can't replicate anywhere else. Like, you know, Jen and Vic, they've managed to just like form such an amazing group of people. And, you know, it doesn't matter if you get something wrong or if you do the best performance of life, no matter what, everyone there is just hyping you up. Like, it's such an amazing group of people. There's not one person I can say there that I've, you know, had a bit of a time with. Like, it's genuinely everyone is so amazing, and everyone just, you know, knows how to hype each other up, and it's really special.
So I'm hearing these wonderful special things about the group, and I see it when I see you guys on stage dancing together. I sense that thing, I sense that family connection, that support between you all. But I'm wondering where it starts. How does that actually come together? How does that happen?
I think it starts from Jen and Vic, because they've infused being good people in their lives. I feel like it just generally rubs off. I feel like it's an example and like positive role model. When someone shows you what it should be like to be a good human and actually care for the people around you, because I generally believe that's why we got put on this earth, we then get that vibe and we then want to be like them. Obviously, we all want to be ourselves, because that's why we're special, right? Why we're all special. But to see them doing good, it makes you want to do good. And I feel like it just generally brings us closer. And I feel like because we've been in that environment, we generally don't know any better. So I feel like it starts with them and just making good choices. And like Daisy said, like, we're not perfect. We might turn up to class, we're like, oh, I'm not having a good day. But it's the fact that the people get you through it, or like there's just so much grace to you being you. So it's like, how could you ever do wrong when you're in so much grace? And I feel like that's what brings us together as well, to like help us do great performances, because there's nothing better than having the vibe between people, because it makes other people feel things, and other people watching, they then get inspired and they're like, wow, well then how can I be like them? And like I said, it then all started with Jen and Vic. So just by two people being good people, it can then inspire the whole world, and
It resonates. It has like an echo effect.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Do you get that anywhere else in life, JJ? Do you notice that at all?
I think so, but it's not anything like hip hop. Hip hop just gives you such positivity, and agreeing with Alisha, no matter how your day's going, it just lifts you up, and you just feel a better person walking out of the class that you've just been in. So sometimes like school with my friends, but hip hop is just amazing. It's such a like different experience in my life. I love it.
Amazing. So Rachel, I got a sense that you, when Alisha was talking about the vibe, I heard you. I could sense you were like agreeing. You were like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Tell me a little bit about the vibe for anyone that I don't dance. I'm not part of a collective quite like that. I do theatre stuff, but I'm not always fully conscious of what this vibe is. Tell me a little bit about it.
I think it's the encouragement, and as Alisha said, it's not necessarily about always being perfect and getting it right. And I don't want to assume that all dance schools are like that, but certainly from hip hop, it's about being the best that you can, and it doesn't matter if you don't get it right. And Jen, and particularly, pushes you to be the best that you can, even if you don't think you can do it, and pushing those limits. So. Our adult class, we're not always great at kind of ad-libbing or freestyling, but Jen kind of crafts it in a very clever way and gives us the tools to go beyond it. So by the end of the lesson, you're like, yeah, okay, might not have felt perfect, but we did our best shot, we gave it a go. And again, in that way, it's making you a better, not only dancer, but a person, because it's giving you the belief that you can do those things. And being older and maybe not as fit as you want to be, just having somewhere every week you can go and just kind of release all the anxieties, doesn't matter what's happened that day, to go along and feel that way. As JJ was saying as well, I can have had the most toughest day at work. I have to drag myself out. But I know once I come out of that class every Tuesday, I'm going to feel a better version of myself for being there. And as I said, because it starts with Jen and Vic, that then kind of disseminates across everybody there. And as I said, and everybody encourages each other.
Yeah, I think you touched on something that's really important there as well, is that thing of how it leads into the other areas of your life, the work that you're doing, the stuff that you do outside of your dance classes, outside of this collective that you have at Hip Hop Pop. Like you're at school, aren't you, Daisy?
Yeah.
So how is it affecting school, what you do at Hip Hop Pop?
I mean, whenever, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I can always hear like Jen's voice in my head, because I remember, I think it was when I was still a bit younger, but we had a class, and I remember this distinctly. She said, okay, so put your hands in the air, and everyone was like, oh, okay. And then she was like, okay, now, put them a little bit higher. You're like, okay. She's like, okay, so why didn't you put them that high the first time? And you're like, oh, that actually makes so much sense. Why didn't I give it all that I could the first time? And so I always hear those sorts of words of inspiration in my head. Like, she's so good at pushing you to be your best without any pressure. You know what I mean? There's, you know, whenever you go into class, there's never any pressure. You know, it's just a really fun place to be. And I completely agree. I know exactly what you mean when you say, like, you come out being a better version of yourself, because there's days where I've been having a pretty bad day and Mum's like, well, come on, you got hip hop later. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I go and I come out and I'm like, I was having such a bad day before and now I feel absolutely fine after just moving around a bit. It's really special.
Would you kind of agree with that at all, JJ?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, for instance, I got a really bad score on my maths test a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I went to hip hop, all was gone. I felt so much better about things, about life. You know, I could go back home and I could start revising again for that maths test because it just put my head in a positive place. And I think hip hop is so helpful in those situations. So I'm really grateful towards them.
So is there anything at school when you say you're like when you're in maths and maths doesn't go so great? Is there anything that's happening there that, like Daisy was saying about that, giving you a little bit of extra effort? Is there anything at school that comes up when you think of hip hop?
Yeah. So yeah, to inspire me, push me forward. I think of how I've progressed through hip hop and how I've gotten better, and that put me in that mental state, which helped me drive through the lessons I struggle in and things I struggle in overall, which is just amazing.
It's really quite powerful that something can give that, and not everyone has that, do they? There's a lot of people at school that don't do these extra things outside of school. Alisha, did you do anything like that? Have you done this throughout your school life? Where did you come into dance?
Yeah, so I started dancing when I was 7 years old. And then I've always danced my whole life. I danced at school. I was actually quite good at school. And I did dance at school as well. And then I became a professional dancer. So I've danced at like the O2, danced for like Stormzy, like Wembley Arena. And I just feel like I actually got taught hip hop ages ago. And then when I came to hip hop pop, I realized I wasn't given the tools to actually know what hip hop was. Because like all the dance moves actually have names. And I feel like going to hip hop pop, they actually educated me to be like, this is actually where hip hop came from. This is the dance moves. These are the different styles. And then also by Jen then passing me on that knowledge, like hip hop pop isn't just a school in Harlow Playhouse. They have schools clubs. They do performances like Bishop Stortford Carnival. They do so much performances for the community. So by Jen giving me that knowledge, I could then pass it on, and it just gave me so much knowledge to feel like, wow. And even me going out into the industry and performing with artists around the world, it really has made me feel like if you treat people like this and if you could teach people this, imagine the small effect it could then go on to. So I try to use it in my everyday life, especially because it feels so safe in that environment. I would love to create that environment for other people as well. And also Jen always says as well that dancing is actually so good for your mental health. It's a scientific fact that it could actually make you live longer.
Yes, yeah.
So I feel like I'm just fed so much information at Hip Hop Pop, and I feel like it's a blessing. I get to then pass that on. So yeah.
Do you encourage others to be part of this group? Have any of you brought anyone else into Hip Hop Pop?
Well, but it's a bit the opposite for me.
Okay.
In that my son brought me to hip hop pop.
Okay.
So my son actually started at the same time as JJ. And what's been incredible is the kind of friendship that they've maintained ever since they were 3 up until now when they're 12. So it was him that kind of encouraged me, and I hadn't been dancing very long with hip hop pop. And they were going to do their one of their big shows. And it was actually my son that was like, come on, you can audition. And I was like, never in a million years. I'm not getting on the stage. I'm never performing. That is not me at all. And he just kept on and on about that. I want to go, you should come, you should come. So in the end, I kind of pacified him and went along and had a number on my back and thought, what on earth am I doing here? I do not belong here. And then I couldn't believe it when Jen actually said, oh, yeah, you and mine have been chosen to come in the show. And I was like, no, we can't be. And again, when I look back, I felt totally out of my depth. But right from day one, I didn't know anybody there. Everybody included me. And I've never looked back since then. So, yeah, it's really my son that brought me into hip hop. I brought hip hop into my school. So they run a school club. I'm a head teacher in a primary school, and they run a school club at my school for many years, and I've then tried to bring that passion to the children. So with Jen's permission, I brought some of the music that she's mixed and brought it into shows that we've done at school with the children. And they think it's quite cool that they've got a hip hop in head teacher. So try to pass on the passion through that.
What do you think that does to your students then? I think that possibly it's more than just being cool, isn't it?
I think so. It's about, again, pushing yourself. It's about having, I talk to them about mental health a lot, and again, about how any kind of release that you can find, those kind of what we call taps to release all the pressure and the strains and that. And I talk to them about how dance is that for me, and that it may be dance, it might be something else like that that's going to help them. I talk to them about dance in terms of, as I said, pushing the boundaries, encouraging yourself to do things, be brave and face your fears. I've talked to them about what it's like to be on stage before, and use those experiences to kind of bring about lessons for them.
And do you do anything similar in the industry when you're working with other professionals? Is there messages from hip hop that you're specifically giving out to other professionals in the industry?
Yeah, always. I feel like with hip hop, there's no pressure. And I feel like when there's no pressure, you perform at your best. And so at Hip Hop Pop, it's always try your best. It's never like you have to be amazing. It's always try your best. And your best is good enough. And if you realise when there's no pressure and you do your best, you actually be amazing without having to tell someone, you need to be amazing. You need to do that. If you release the pressure, just say, do your best. And you just find you'll then have so much fun on stage. And I feel like hip hop really has taught me that. And I've been there for 9 years now.
Yes,
so
yeah. And when I saw your last hip hop show, one thing I noticed was how everyone was having fun in the wings, and how everyone was cheering each other on and giving each other encouragement off the side of the stage. It felt like there was this energy that was building up. Tell me a little bit about that. What happens there?
I just think it's just that family feel, because you get so excited seeing your peers on stage, and then you see how amazing they are, and it just makes you want to scream. Like everyone knows I'm a screamer, so I'm in the audience screaming my head off like, yeah, let's go. And it doesn't matter if you don't know that person, you're just so proud that they're up there, and you know that when you go on stage, you've got someone cheering you too. And I feel like when people are gassing you up and egging you on, you just be your best self. And I just think it's amazing. And everyone's just so excited. Like Rachel says, she's got her son. There's some people who have like 3 kids and they do it as a family. Wow. There are some people who've been friends for like so many years. So it's like, again, family. And you just want to see people do good. And then all the audience members start cheering as well. And it's like, it just becomes a great time. It's almost like a party.
No, it sounds a party that has so much value to it as well.
Yeah.
And so Daisy, for you then, going back to the theatre stuff that you do also, in theatre you can't cheer each other on in the wings, but is there anything like that you can be doing to make theatre better than you take from hip hop?
I mean, the thing about hip hop is that there's people that I'm friends with there that never in a million years would I speak to in a different environment. Like, I'm friends with people that if I was maybe in school, you know, it would be like a popular crowd, and then, you know, some people who are sort of more alternative. And I'm friends with all of these sorts of people. And it's so special because you get a sort of environment that everyone's so, like, diverse. And, you know, you see it, like, with the bandstand that burned down a couple of days ago. Like, everyone comes together, all people who are so different, everyone feels the same sense of like, oh no, because it's part of our community. And, you know, even though everyone is different, you've got this whole sense of, in Harlow with hip hop, things like that, everyone is part of the same community, and you really get a sense of like, you know, we're all together.
Yeah, that togetherness is something that's really important for us. And I think we touched on it very slightly with that time that we was in COVID, where everyone got taken apart from each other. And so I think maybe that we're in a little period where we appreciate it a little more. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you get any sense of that at all, JJ?
Yeah, I think from COVID, there's so much negativity that hit the world. But I feel like the small, obviously very small percentage of the world that go to hip hop were lifted so much by the positivity and the amazing choreography from dancing and coming out of the classes, going back in. It's just, it's put so much positivity into people who go, and it really helped. I know it helped me, and I know that it probably helped a lot of people in the hip hop community during COVID.
So here's a really tough question for you. Then we're living in a time that a lot of people are seeing this as a dark moment at this present time. There's lots going on in the world that's not so great. Is there anything that we can take from hip hop and give out to the rest of the world?
I just feel like just do things for other people and put other people first, because that's something Jen and Sync done. Like last Christmas, we all came together and they got everyone to buy a gift, and you got a token that had a child's like age on it, and you had to buy like any toy you want. It was either a girl, boy, or obviously the world we live in, it could be not without any genders, but you could just buy a gift that is for that child who doesn't have any gifts at Christmas. And we all brought it together, and Jen and Sync orchestrated it all, and then they sent off the gifts. So it's just about doing things for other people. That's why I'm saying it's not just about dance. Like dance, it inspires us all and keeps us together in the togetherness, what you was trying to say. But it's also doing things for other people is why we were put on this earth. And that's why Jen and Sync have worked so hard to teach us that without knowing they're teaching us that, because by them doing that one act of kindness, it then inspires me to like go and do another act of kindness. So it's all about living for other people. Obviously live for yourself and do what you need to do for yourself, but even that small percentage out of your day, if you just gave someone £1 that needed £1, that is impacting the world.
What do you think to that, JJ?
Yeah, I think kindness in this world goes a mile, because my dad says people are selfish after COVID. You know, like you see it on the roads, someone's just cutting you off. So
it's bad. No, it's bad. It's bad out there. There is a lot of selfishness going on.
But I think kindness goes a long way currently in the world.
So what would you say to your dad then? Have you got a message for your dad when he's saying that? When he's saying the world is selfish, but then you're at hip hop pop and you're seeing it's not quite so bad?
Honestly, nobody at hip hop is selfish in their own personal way, because the community there is so inclusive and kind, and everyone just wants to get along. Nobody wants to cause harm. So I would just say to everybody, just be calm and be kind and respect other people, because, you know, the world's changing and it always will be, and you have to accept that.
You're going to make me cry, JJ.
Yeah, no, powerful words there, JJ. Powerful words. So on that, if we look to the future, then what's happening next for hip hop pop? Where are we at the moment? We're just about to move into Christmas. Is there any shows or anything coming up at the moment? Is there anything that you're working on at the moment?
Not at this point, but I think Jen's always working on something. I am always awe-inspired by her creativity and how she never ever stops. And neither does Vic. I think she gets pulled along by it all as well. But yeah, so I know there's a showcase that will be coming up at the beginning of next year, and then another big show next year. But we don't have any details on that. But I have no doubt that Jen's living and breathing that every day and planning it even as we're speaking.
Yeah.
So you know that there's something that you obviously know there's showcases and things going to come up in the future. So what does a normal day at Hip Hop Pop look like for you guys then?
So, I mean, when I go to my classes, we sort of go in and then we wait to be let in, and I see all my friends, and it's just we all have a catch up, and then we go in, we do our warm up, which really sort of gets the vibes going, because it's always like a fun beat that you put on, sets the mood for the class, and then after we've done that, Jen sort of tells us what the vibe's going to be for the class that day. And it's always such a good vibe, no matter what we're doing. Yeah.
Now, Rachel, you touched on earlier, you went back to what your first day at Hip Hop Pop was like. What would you say to anyone that was coming into a Hip Hop Pop class for the first time?
I think it's great because we're always welcoming new people into the class. And I think what always shines through is everybody making them feel welcome, or even if it's turning and smiling to them, checking in with them and just like, yeah, it's full on, but it's great and you're going to feel good, and don't worry if you can't get it. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Even from that first time, I still remember walking into the first class and not knowing a single soul, because I was meant to go with a friend and she never turned up. But I remember everyone just being really reassuring. And again, just from that instruction of it doesn't matter, just try your best. And also that reassurance, Jen often says, if you feel really weird doing what you're doing, you're probably doing it right. And that sense of, like not beating yourself up, not feeling like it's really strange, and then passing those messages on to those that are newer to the class as well.
And how did you feel on that first day?
Oh, petrified.
And is that a general thing? Do you think, I know that when I've gone into a new group, a new community, I've often felt scared or worried. Is that quite normal, JJ?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar with anything, I think. Schools, yeah, anything. But you know, as soon as you walk through that door on your first day and you do your warm-up and you start the routine, everybody is going to back you up. No matter, if you have a bad day, anything, they're going to be there for you and they're going to help you and they're going to, give you kind words and respect you, and they're going to do only kind things towards you, and that's really helpful.
Is it worth it? Is it worth having that fear that, that moment of you're walking into something new and it's really scary and petrifying is the outcome of going through that?
Yeah, I think that's really helpful, and I always think if you're nervous, it means you care about something. So I think being nervous is always a part of the journey, and I think it's part of the journey.
Wonderful. And what about you, Daisy? Do you remember your first day?
Well, I recently moved from a class that I was in to a sort of more challenging class, and
so is it like a level up? Have you gone like a level up?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I think because I moved up with a group of my friends, and I think we were all really nervous because obviously it is more challenging, and everyone who's already in that group has been there for a while. But, as soon as we got there, all of these, older people who have been there for a while were so welcoming, and they were like, oh, come on, let's get involved. And even though it was a lot more difficult, I feel like, as JJ said, everyone backs you up. And even if you don't get the dance, because I think on my first time I was like, whoa, and I didn't get it. Even by the end, even if you only have like 2 moves down, you can still just like freestyle for the rest of the dance because there's no pressure, and it's just like the vibes are so great that, I don't feel upset when I can't get the dance. I mean, it's a bit frustrating sometimes, but it's still like a nice place to be, even if you can't get it.
And I guess with you, Alisha, as you're in the professional world, you're probably coming across that a lot, where you're putting yourself in new environments with new groups of people.
It's that, but I also am a teacher for hip hop pop, so I teach on a Saturday. So I came from teaching just now.
Okay.
And you never know who's going to walk into that class. That is all abilities, people who've danced forever, people who haven't, and you just never know what's going to walk through the door. So for me, I'm just like, how could I always just give my best? And when I get new people walk through the door, I just have to remember, like, it's fun.
And
No one's judging you.
is there ever nerves from the teacher's perspective?
I think a little bit, because you just want everyone to have a good time. But the minute the music comes on and the minute you see everyone just enjoying yourself, it then fuels me. And I feel like the vibe bounces off of each other and everyone just generally wants to have a good time. Again, it doesn't matter what ability you are. Everyone's just like, oh, I love this music. And then everyone gets going. And then I feel like you're just into the routine of things. Yeah.
Wonderful. I really want to be part of hip hop. I might start learning dancing. This
You
sounds like
should come.
No, you don't want to see me dance. But if you could go back to one of your favourite moments in hip hop, in fact, actually on this podcast we sometimes do a bit of a hypothetical. We go time travelling. If you could go back to one of your favourite moments, where would you go back to?
Well, it's kind of always sad, and when I was younger, I'd dread it and I'd cry. But the second show of, I think it was Shadows, where Rebecca finished like the point and everyone just charged on and like started jumping and hugging, and that was such an overwhelming feeling of happiness, a little bit of sadness, and just like every positive emotion aside from obviously sadness just like hit you, and that's just that feeling I'll never forget, I don't think. Yeah,
that was a great show.
That
Wasn't
was
it?
that was a moment that I get the feeling that's going to live with you forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unbeatable. I haven't found something that matches it yet, and I'm quite happy about that actually, because I don't really want that feeling to be forgotten.
Wonderful. What about you, Daisy? Where we go?
When you said that, I immediately thought of the same moment. When I think it was the last show, and Boo just did the last move. It was a point, and everyone instantly was like, "Yeah!" And everyone just like ran on, and I was in that moment, I was dancing with people who I'd never even spoken to before, people from all ages, and it was just like this immense feeling of like, yeah, look what we've just done. And that show was absolutely amazing, and I still miss it, but I know there's more coming.
Well, do you know what I really like about both of your memories, that you're both going back to that place? It's about others. You're not going back somewhere that was necessarily for yourself. It was about the other people and the connection that you had, which is really nice. What about you, Rachel? Have you got a place that you'd go to?
So many. I think there's two that stand out. I mean, Shadows as a whole show was phenomenal, and I think the whole experience from when we started that show right through to that kind of final moment, and even the celebrations afterwards as well, because there's always the invite to join each other and have a good time afterwards and debrief and de-stress and have a great time. So I think that was a highlight show. But I go back to my first show as well, and I remember being absolutely terrified of going on stage the first time and wondering what on earth I'd done. As I said, I didn't know a lot of people very well when I first started. Obviously knew them much better by the end. And I remember Jen saying, bottle this moment. There's nothing like that feeling. And in that particular show, we actually finished crouching down with our backs to the audience. And I remember the first show finishing, like crouching down, and there was this roar behind us, like of kind of cheering and clapping and that. And I will never forget that. And Jen saying, bottle up that moment. And that moment's lived a long time.
And you have bottled it up. You've kept it, have you?
Definitely, yeah. So there's that. And I think there's just also been the kind of the quiet, lower moments, not even just in class or, as I said, because of making such strong friendships through hip hop. And there's been times when things have been more challenging in both mine or like people that I've got to know through hip hop's lives. And just that kind of camaraderie, that kind of, just the checking in messages that I've got at times, just checking in, or you didn't see me yourself yesterday at rehearsal, how are you doing? Those moments have meant a lot. So they stick with me as well.
They stay with you. Yeah. Wonderful. What about you, Alisha?
Okay, so my memory is going to be very, very different. So
let's go for it.
Hip Hop Pop, they also provide dancers for productions like Forever Jackson and Always Ariana for like a tribute, and then also 24K Bruno. And I danced for two of them, Bruno, the 24K Bruno and Forever Jackson. Forever Jackson is always on tour, and like I've never seen parts of England I didn't even know about. But this one time I was on my way to teach for Hip Hop Pop on a Saturday, and I get a call from Vic saying, "Are you busy in the next 24 hours?" I'm like, "No, why?" And she's like, "So Kaylee fell off stage and broke her arm, and she's flying back now, but can you fly there and dance for Forever Jackson?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Great. You leave and you go to Stansted just after classes." And literally within 3 hours, I was in Spain.
Wow. So that sounds like a real crossroads moment where everything changed for you.
It was so crazy, but it was so fun. And because like everyone in hip hop's my friend, it was like a free holiday. And the show was amazing. It was to like 10,000 people, a festival in Spain. And we were just like, what? This is crazy. Like, we are actually famous. And then 24 hours later, back in the UK, it was a moment of what has just happened, but also like I just had the best time. 1 minute I'm at the beach, next minute I'm on stage in front of tens of thousands of people. And then it's so crazy. Like, yeah.
Wonderful.
Very different to you guys.
No, but still, it's an important thing that's come out of Hip Hop Pop, and I really appreciate you guys sharing your journey with Hip Hop Pop and sharing on the podcast today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing as we say goodbye and thank you. If anyone has been watching or listening to this episode of the podcast, thank you for joining us. And thank you once again to Harlow Council for amplifying the voices of Harlow. Thank you.
Martin, I think you should learn this hip hop move. You could do it
Wait,
sit down.
Okay, go on then. Let's not stop here. Go on then. What are we going to learn?
It's called a Smurf, okay?
A
we all
Smurf.
know Smurf, right?
I have so my body and my mind, I don't think they're connected. Like I think there's something else going on
People
here.
come to class,
Okay.
they say that, and they're still with us.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
You've got to try your best,
All right, I'm
Martin.
going to try my best. Okay.
Okay, so you just take a fist.
I'm
You
going to have a
come
sip of
from your
water.
shoulder.
Hold on, which fist?
Any fist.
fist.
Any fist. We all did different.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah, and you're just going to punch forward slow. So you're going to punch forward slow, then swap your arms. Punch forward slow, then
Okay.
swap. Slow. Slow. So that's the arm movement. Then you got to use your body, and this is called a front rock. And
Okay.
you've just got to rock forward like this. Go rock, A. Go rock, A.
Hey, go.
Add your arms, add the arms. Go Smurf, A. Go Smurf, A. Go Smurf, A. Go Smurf,
Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
Oh, appreciate that. Well, that's one of my favourite ends to a podcast ever. Thank you. No, I'm not going to say that. I'll get carried away now. No, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. I actually brought a tear to my eye. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again. And thank you, Jen, who's sitting at the back there. Thank you, Jen. And thank you, Luna, who's here. Checking we're all good. Well, we're all done, guys. Thank you so much.
JJ, I'm so proud of you. What the flip?
Yeah, like the stuff that you were coming out with, some solid gold there. So. I think you're lucky to have each other. It sounds like you've got an amazing family, amazing group.
Changing the subject, that jumper really suits you.
It does actually. It does really suit you.
You ain't getting it back now. You've got to go tell someone.
So one of the things with Harlow Council doing this Amplifying the Voices of Harlow is the opportunity that if any of you guys want to get involved with podcasting and you want any help with that, I'm here to help. So if you come away from here and you're like, I've got questions, I want to know about equipment, I want to know about how to do questioning, anything at all, you can reach out to me. I'll give you my contact details, and I'm here to help with that if you want it.
Thank you, Mike.
No,
You're
thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're
Well, you
amazing.
just tie it all
Yeah.
together. It's just,
Love it.
Professional.
Phenomenal.
Professional. I don't know about professional, but
No,
I just love what I do, and I'm very blessed to be doing this. So
that's all you need,
great.
though, to love what you do.
Yeah.
And that's life.
yeah, took a little while to find that, but I'm here now, so all is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a lot to, Jen's a big bit to thank for that. She was on very early on. She was I didn't even know I could talk to people before I started doing this. And then, so I started doing it with just friends, one-on-one, and then people that I hadn't seen. I don't think we'd seen each other for like 20 years. And I reached out to her and got Jen and Vic on the podcast. And it was the first time I had two people to talk to.
We watched
Which
that
is-
video this morning.
Did you see a little bit of it?
watch it.
So that was the first moment. That was a big moment for me of like, oh, I can speak to more than one now.
And here you are
and
with
here-
four.
And then we did a world record, which Jen was part of, where I spoke to the most people on a podcast episode. And yeah, that was a
Wasn't
good
that
moment.
the 7th one after you did the 2 with Jen and Vic?
So I did the 2 with Jen and Vic. Then I did a little round circle one, which
Yeah.
Luna was part of that as well. And then I did 140 guests in.
Wow.
It took 16 hours to do 140 guests, but the time didn't matter. But yeah, 140 people.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
incredible.
That's it. And we raised £1,000 in that time
wow.
as well for St Clair's Hospice. So yeah,
That is amazing.
that was
I
nice.
don't know how you kept on speaking.
Neither do I. It was just,
Fall asleep halfway
No.
through speaking.
I don't.
After about hour, was it 12?
Yeah.
Sentences just started to roll.
It started like being a blur, and we were like getting on the phone to people, and like I don't know, and we'll never have contact with again, and it was going a bit, about hour 12, it was going a little bit weird, but and pizza was being delivered, but yeah,
Can't go on pizza.
no,
That refuel.
pizza and Monster got me through that.
Yeah.
How did it feel being on a podcast and having like an emotional conversation? If that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
You guys chat loads. We chat loads in life. What's it like having a conversation with? Because you call it intentional conversation, don't you? That's
Mhm.
the word that comes up a lot. What does that feel like in this space?
I think once we got started, I think I was very nervous about doing it. I'm not going to lie. I think once we started, and because we had each other to bounce off of, by the time you
Yeah.
start, because it's quite intimate, I wasn't aware of
Yeah.
anything else. Like, I completely forgot that you were there.
Yeah.
In the nicest possible way. Yeah, it did feel very intimate and very, just like we were just chatting, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was terrified at the start, and I was actually quite like nervous throughout because I didn't want to like stutter and screw up. But I definitely felt better throughout.
Yeah.
No,
And I stutter throughout, I think I like that thing of we're just us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I try and make that as much as possible.
I was going to say, I think the lighting's here, it does
Yeah.
feel very
And
intimate. Like you're
sometimes
just-
I do this in
yeah.
other environments as well, but when I can make it like this, I will. So it's just us.
Yeah.
And this is our world. This is our
Yeah.
world for half an hour, or whatever.
Yeah. I think
See
when
where
you
it
see
goes.
like a comfortable face, like I see days I'm like, it's alright. Because I've got ADHD. I don't
Yeah.
know what's coming out my mouth.
No,
Like,
same,
that
yeah.
scares me.
Yeah.
Let alone you guys.